A shocking incident that took place on a summer morning in 1892, an incident that will leave an indelible mark on the pages of true crime history. This is an account of the infamous case of Lizzie Borden. It goes deeper. Living at 92 2nd Street in Fall River, Massachusetts, the Bordens seemed to lead an opulent lifestyle. Andrew Borden, a wealthy merchant, his second wife, Abby, and their daughters, Emma and Lizzie, lived in relative comfort. But on August 4, 1892, the curtain of peace collapsed. The morning sun witnessed a horrible crime. Andrew Borden was lifeless in the living room, with a savage impression that he had been hit in the head with multiple arrows. Abby Borden suffered a similar ordeal at the hotel, horrific beyond imagination. Lizzie Borden discovers her father's lifeless body and becomes the central figure in a mystery that defies explanation. That morning, Bridget Sullivan, the family maid, had come across Abby's lifeless body. Autopsy revealed savage assault, coil, or similar weapon as instrument of savagery. Facing the research was a daunting challenge, a lack of tangible incentives. While the conflict between Lizzie and her stepfather was known, no apparent reason for the brutal murders of Andrew and Abby emerged. The arrest of Lizzie Borden on August 11, 1892, began a trial that swept the nation. The prosecution made a case of motives and opportunities, emphasizing financial motives and close family ties. However, the defense considered the lack of direct evidence linking Lizzie to the crime scene. On June 20, 1893, the jury rendered a verdict that will go down in history. Acquitted of all charges, Lizzie Borden walked out of the trial a free woman. The lack of conclusive evidence had cast doubt on his guilt, leaving the Borden house and its secrets to bear witness to the unspeakable. In life after the trial, Lizzie Borden returned to Fall River. Despite his innocence, public trials overshadowed his life until his death in 1927. The walls of 92 2nd Street were a silent testament to a past that refused to fade. Lizzie Borden's case is beyond the confines of the courtroom. His legacy remains in unanswered questions, a lack of clear motivation, and a haunting image of that August morning. It was a quiet morning on December 1, 1948, on Somerton Beach near Adelaide, South Australia. Little did anyone know that the sand of this peaceful beach would bear witness to a hitherto unsolved mystery. On that fateful morning, a lifeless body was found lying on the seawall. As if in good health, the man showed no visible signs of violence. But when investigators tracked down his identity, the story turned into a confusing one. Hidden in one pocket of the man's pants was a piece of paper with the word darkness on it. Add a mysterious obviousness. The discovery of a hidden object ripped from an unknown book led investigators into the mystery. The mystery deepened when an unclaimed bag was found at a nearby train station. Inside were carefully removed textured clothes and yarns that ignored local origins. A graffiti message appeared in the private compartment of a car abandoned near the scene of the crime, and its meaning was enshrined in a secret puzzle that resisted identifying the crime. The man stripping gave nothing away. Characters were removed, lines were cut, and he remained a nameless spectral figure. Looking for clothes for local manufacturers yielded no answers, and the Somerton man remains a ghostly mystery. The lack of identification, secret laws, and mysterious circumstances surrounding the case fueled speculation about possible intelligence contacts, and the idea of an international conspiracy carried more complexity added to the unfolding drama. The Tam-Am-Shud case crossed borders, attracting international interest. Authorities and amateur investigators tried to unravel the mystery. Despite concerted efforts, the identity of the Somerton man and what it meant behind the code of mystery remained elusive. Today, the story of Tam-Am-Shud stands as one of Australia's enduring mysteries. Its unsolved questions continue to pique public curiosity, spark countless imaginations, and ensure the mystery of Somerton Beach lives on. In the quiet village of Hinterkaifeck in Bavaria, the wind of March 31, 1922 carried with it an unspeakable horror that lingered for years. This is a chilling account of the Hinterkaifeck murder. Hinterkaifeck, a remote farm surrounded by fields and forests, was home to the Grubers, Andreas, Kazilia, Victoria, Kazilia, the youngest, and Joseph, and their maid Maria Baumgartner. Unbeknownst to them, and their isolation becomes the stage for a kind of nightmarish tragedy. On April 4, 1922, there was a terrifying sighting in the village at the Hinter Café. The Grubers and their maid had been brutally murdered. Rural peace disturbed by atrocities committed against unsuspecting inhabitants. The murderers were armed with a mattock, a farm tool, to cut off the end of the Gruber family's life. What made the Hinterkaifeck murders so unsettling was the discovery that the murderers had fled immediately. Instead, they stayed on the farm for days after the terrible work, using the family's resources to care for the animals as well. The investigation revealed a lack of clear objectives, which confused the researchers. Despite details of the bizarre events leading up to the murder, the family seemed unaware of the impending danger. Day-old footsteps leading from the woods to the farm, unexplained noises reported by neighbors suggested a cold simulation of the tragedy. A newspaper from the day of the murder was found at home of the murderers, indicating that the murderers were still on the property. The Hinterkaifeck murders remain one of Germany's most heinous and unsolved crimes.